Wait a minute, fire in the hole. What are you
Fire in the
trying?
hole.
What are you trying to say?
Throwing grenades. We just, all over the place. We're
Well,
evil. Did you know that, Duke? We're contributing to the delinquency of minors.
I thought it was just you that was evil.
Well, look, maybe so or whatever, but I guess guilty by association. I don't know.
Oh, wait a minute. I've heard something about that. That language of the rats. I've heard something about that theory. I have.
Yeah, and so for hey, at least we have 8 people. We're back a dozen. We have a dozen people. We're back to our initial number from like the very first show. I think we hit about a dozen folks. Half of or a portion of which were our wives and friends, of course.
I heard that. I heard that. Well, you know what? Look, hey, tonight we've got a pretty interesting show. I don't know that it's a show that we had planned. It didn't, but circumstances drive what we need to report on.
Well, and I'll probably say this multiple times during the show, but for those of you that are starting to tune in, hey, we're up to a few dozen people now. I'm surprised actually we have any. Somebody's tried to deplatform us, literally. But usually I'm the one who has got the level head, so to speak, as far as being or getting us deplatformed. Tonight, we literally may be deplatformed and kicked off of Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. So we've got to make sure when we come out of the break and talk about our plan of action in case, what everybody needs to do, how you need to grab your go bags in case we get kicked off of the platforms.
So, so you're saying that we're not just giving up?
Giving up. What?
Yeah.
Look,
Wait a minute. I thought we were. I mean, we're
you thought we were
surrounded.
gonna take our toys and go home?
We're throwing the towel in. We're going to roll up shop and call it a day.
Well, look, here's the deal. I mean, this is my stance. Now, you tell me whether you agree or not, Mr. Lowry. We started this show to with basically the quasi mission statement of talking about the stuff that goes on in Bossier with politics and politicians and bureaucrats that nobody else would talk about. That we all talk about in private and laugh about, and cry about, honestly. But nobody seems to want to talk about it in public. That is what we started on in our very first show. We literally had, I don't know, a dozen people. I think Barry Butler, hello Barry Butler. I think Barry Butler was watching, or wives were watching. A few friends of ours, but that's it. So here's my stance: if we drop back down, and look, folks, we appreciate every single one of you that watches every single Tuesday. But if we drop back down to 0 followers right now, I'm still going to do the show, and I think and hope that you're going to be right here along this ride, kind of Thelma and Louise-ish with
Oh,
me.
that's exactly what I was thinking. How many people remember that movie?
Yeah. Did you know? I went back through our archives, and I don't know if you folks know, but Duke and I and Juliana and Allie were actually in that movie. Folks, did y'all know that we were actually in the Thelma and Louise movie?
I, I mean, look, I got to tell you, I'm shocked, and I'm sure some people are appalled, but I'm shocked. I can't believe they would do a movie with us.
Yes, we were literally. I've forgotten that we were movie stars. And after we come out of the break, I've got a little clip, just about a minute or so. I've got a little clip, and I'm going to roll, folks. Y'all didn't know that Duke and I were movie stars, and
Well, and yeah,
and
and
Allie and
Allie and
Juliana.
yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, for those of y'all, slipping around YouTube, so nobody will know who you are, but we know who you are. Go ahead and message, Allie and Juliana. Let them know, hey, we've got a movie of them coming up, and who knew that we were all in the movie together? I had no idea.
Yeah. So and look, it'll be in probably 4.5, 5-ish minutes, just to give you all plenty of heads up about that. Now I'm trying to adjust my network here to make sure that
And
it's
and agree,
performing.
and again, we're going to have to counsel everybody, what to do in the event that as we're going through this subject matter, that, if we get censored because somebody is doing their ever loving best to prevent you from hearing all sides of the story, because they don't want you to know the whole truth. They only want you to know their truth. They don't want you to know everything. And, you know, I know that when we're right here live putting it out there on video that we're being sneaky, Rex. Did you know that? We're being sneaky, and
Yeah.
we're not willing to say things to people's face right here
Oh,
while we're talking live on for the whole world to see.
are you
How is
trying
that?
to
How are we nefarious?
are you trying to trip my trigger already by mentioning saying things to people's faces? We'll have to explain that one on the other side of the break too, because I've got a little story to tell about that as well.
I'm just trying to lay the groundwork for everybody that's going to watch this show, because I think this show you want a school on politics. You're going to get it tonight.
All right, so here's the drill. For those of you that have been watching for a long time, for those of you that are brand new to the show, we appreciate everybody watching. We're here, YouTube, and also on Twitter live, as a matter of fact, so you can watch us on any platform or whatever. And that's the places to go in case we get knocked off of Facebook. Go to Twitter or YouTube and vice versa. But we'll talk about that a little bit more after the break. So anyway, with that said, for those of you that don't know, we're going to do a little 3-minute basically countdown and a little intro. That gives us time to get a stiff drink and make some popcorn, and you as well. And more importantly, Duke, what do they need to do?
Share, invite friends,
Yes.
and get a stiff drink themselves.
Yes, exactly. All right, so we will be back in about 3.5 to 4 minutes. This is the time for y'all to adjust your chairs, share, tag, text people. Go ahead and let Allie and
Oh, wait a minute. Is
uh-oh.
is is us encouraging people to get a stiff drink? Are we somehow or another using some form of modern slang that's insulting?
Oh, I forgot about that, folks. We've got to process everything we say through the Urban Dictionary first. Dang, that's going to this is going to be an all-night show.
How are we going to be able to even have a show if we've got to filter all of the English language, through? Oh, I've got an idea how to do it.
How's that?
We'll explain when we get into the show. I got it. I
okay.
think I understand. I know now.
Sounds like a deal. All right, folks, here we go. I'm going to hit the button. We're going to go to the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. 3.5 to 4 minutes. We'll be back. Share the show out.
If folks knew a lot of the back office on the politicians that they think walk on water, they would be shocked. There's an old wound from a knife in my back that just is giving me heck lately, and it's just really irritating, so I have to kind of wiggle around a little bit.
Well, I've not heard my name in stable or Baton Rouge in stable in the same sentence in a long time.
And I titled it A Shot Across the Bow of the Good Old Boys.
Just, they feel helpless, they don't feel heard, they have nowhere to turn.
Some Republicans as well believe that government has the answers. And let me tell y'all something. I don't know anything government does well. Nothing.
Aren't there laws that say that you have public meetings so that the public can have accountability of their elected officials?
They're making a little bit of progress, but I would definitely have to give the race to Caddo Parish right now.
I don't know. Is there anybody from Plain Dealing watching, you think?
As a member of the media, I'm very concerned about what I've just heard.
Did you or did you not requisition some money to fight against this or for it?
We hired a lobbyist, and it cost us $15,000. We were opposed to HB 630.
So for this week, folks, the cockroach of the week, according to Bossier Watch and Duke Lowry and Rex Moncrief, is
Raymond Croon's legislative assistant, Allie Feaster Smith. Thank you, Allie. Well, I'm not thinking Star Wars at all. I'm thinking zombie apocalypse. No way. It was not David. You know it wasn't David Montgomery. David ain't going to jump off in there with Chris. You're going to do it. He'd soon spit on him as he would even look at him. Man, this is a Mickey D's Krispy Kreme wheat. Didn't you know? Who's paying y'all? And if you're driving on the roads, are you safe?
It's on the road, yeah.
Well, I know you're on the road, but I mean, is this all folks coming from the border down there?
Yeah, it's going to border. It's actually going to Mexico, the buses.
Doesn't mean they interpret it the same way that I do. For instance, the Second Amendment. I take it very literally. That's been interpreted different ways in the court system all the way up to SCOTUS. Yeah, that's only going to cause more division that he claims he doesn't want to cause. And it's only going to cause more suspicion. We're still right now combined on both pages and YouTube at 264 people watching. That is amazing, folks. Coleman Project, the Walker Place deal, through conscious, shocking action. The purpose of their actions was to stop plaintiffs, being the Earl Coleman and associated groups not, from developing Walker Place. But here's the key thing, which in turn would enrich sitting city council members Scott Irwin and David Montgomery Jr.
You hit the button? Does that mean that people are seeing us sitting here talking and chatting?
In theory, it's an every week thing. We got to double check and make sure it's like a miracle any of this actually works. This Bossier Watch live broadcast is brought to you by the Outdoor News, fishing and outdoors for our area. Acadiana Mortgage, over 25 years in the mortgage business. Pelican Training and Consulting. Reach out to Julie Ferris. Smarter Geek, making technology easier. And folks sharing information and watching out for Bossier. Now, grab your popcorn and a drink. Here we go. And here we are again.
I don't always we don't see all of the comments, but there was a couple. I was trying to pay attention as that was going and watch some of those comments. One of them, Christopher Norris, he says, hey, I may not agree with everything, but I respect you, Duke and Rex. Love the podcast. Since I came across it last year, I'll stay watching no matter what. And I got to tell you, I appreciate he always voices his disagreement with us on issues, and I appreciate that. I do. And, after this show, I'm certain there's a lot of people that probably are still not going to agree with us. And you know what? That's fine. But here's the thing. We're going to throw it out there on the wall, and you're going to get to see all of it and make your own decision.
Yeah, and so let's give everybody the disclaimer now, and we will try to remember to do this again, that we may show a word in the show, not that we posted, that one of our elected officials posted, not us, but we may show that word that some of you may certainly find offensive. All right. It's not a word that Duke and I use. I think my wife can probably, she's in the comments, she can probably testify. Duke, I'm sure yours can too. I've never heard you use the word, and you haven't either. And hence the name of the show, The Language of the Rats, because we kind of got educated on some stuff that we didn't even have a clue about this week.
Yeah, officially, I know that I am an old fart. Because when people start using language and terms that I don't know and I have to go educate myself on, I guess I'm obviously missing the boat.
Yeah, I think the gray hair on us is definitely showing. And I have to say, as I began to, and we'll get more in depth about this here in a little bit, but as I began to ask people about this, it was probably 60-40 splits. 60% of people were like, what the heck are you talking about? 40% of people knew what it meant. That's kind of my anecdotal evidence.
Well, I was asking people, and I guess it's the crowd that I run in. They're like all surprised. What are you talking about? Had no idea. Right. But yeah. I think a recap, last show, and there's some, this isn't bragging about last show because it's not, but obviously we were talking about an issue, the first church issue, and we had a guest, and there was a lot of viewers, a lot. I think at one point, if you're watching on one social media, say Facebook, you're not going to be able to see the total viewers that are on YouTube. You're not going to be able to see the viewers that are on, Truth Social or one of the other. You're not going to be able to see them all, but in totality, we can see. So during the course of that show, there was probably, I think the number we saw was around 260, 270,
Right.
live total viewers. Y'all wouldn't have seen that number. And, there's been a lot of feedback about that show and that interview and
Yeah.
talking about the stuff revolving around First Church. And there has been, feedback about that. And I mean, what exactly was the feedback, Rex?
Well, I mean, the feedback about the show in general that I got was mostly positive. And look, there were 500 comments scrolling by, and some for, some against, some on one side, some on the other. And so the feedback was pretty positive. And I would like to point out, we got to show the movie clip here in a second, too, that I found in the archives. But I would like to point out that, like you said, we had 260 plus people watching simultaneously at one point during that show. As a matter of fact, we had like 120 at 3 hours that were still watching the show. And so we appreciate all of that. But we had a lot of church going folks. And 60% of over 60% of our viewers are female, according to just Facebook. That doesn't include YouTube and a few people watching on Twitter, plus the podcast version. And, with that many people, we can't always see every comment that's scrolling by. I mean, it's a lot of comments. And so, anyway, we'll clarify exactly what happened first. But, Duke, let's jump back for a minute. So I found this movie scene that I had completely forgotten you and I were in, and had forgotten that actually Allie made an appearance and Juliana made an appearance. Would you like to see it? Folks, would y'all like to see it?
I'm dying because I forgot the movie that I was in. It slipped my memory. I didn't know. I would have thought I would have remembered being in a movie with, Allie and Juliana. I thought I would have remembered that.
Well,
and
especially,
how could I forget being in a movie with you?
Especially the ending of it. And so this is the point, folks, where we're going to start running the fence line of possibly getting deplatformed. So again, the procedure is, if we get cut off of Facebook, everybody go to YouTube, search for Bossier Watch, we'll be there. If we get kicked off of YouTube, go to Twitter or X or whatever it is these days, search for Bossier Watch, we're live there. We're just going to keep rolling with the show. So, would y'all like to see this movie clip? Duke, would you like to go down memory lane?
Let's roll with it. I'm ready to see it.
All right, here we go down memory lane.
Listen to me! You calm down! Don't make me sorry I brought you! Damn it!
Hey, that looks like Juliana. Look, pointy nose.
What are you talking about? Let's keep going. What do you mean? Go! You sure? Yeah. Hit it.
I mean, I can't understand why we didn't win. What is the award? Golden Globe, Emmy, what, Grammy? No, Grammy's music. I can't believe we didn't win one of those. What's that little gold statue of the dude?
Well, I think the problem is probably we would have to go to the library and get a little educated, because I don't know that our education level rises to the level to be able to get awards like that. You have to have certain propensities that, are not in our language or
Oscar.
Or, an Oscar. There you go.
Oh, we might show that again at the end of the show. So anyway, I hope folks y'all enjoyed it, but that kind of sets the tone for this entire episode, because we got a couple things to talk about, then we're gonna spend a lot of time on one topic. But look, here's the deal. Duke and I agreed from day one that we were just gonna do this. It doesn't matter how many viewers we have. Yeah, we like to talk about it. Yeah, I'll poke fun at Juliana and troll her, on how many viewers we have, because literally we have more than 3 times the viewers than she had voters for her in the last police jury race. But I'll troll her with that. But and we appreciate all of you, so I don't want to come across as arrogant. But Duke and I are going to sit here and get on our soapbox every Tuesday night, no matter what.
It's no matter what. I mean, if we get on here and everybody on here hates our guts because we're saying what we believe to be the facts about local politics and politicians and the way they, represent us or, perform their public service, then you know what? We disagree. And if you want to take your football and go, so be it. So be it. We're not here to make friends. What we're here to do is to put out the information that elected officials don't want you to hear. They don't want transparency. They don't want you to know it. They don't want you to hear it at all. Period. Full stop.
I agree. And let me say one more thing, Duke, and we'll go ahead and start proceeding with our list of stuff to talk about. Anyway, I think one of the things, and folks, y'all can say yes or no or agree or offer you feedback in the comments. I think one of the reasons that, we built an audience over the last several years is because we're who we are. You can ask my mother. She's in the comments as well, although, Mom, you might hear a dirty word tonight. And my wife can certainly attest to it. Your wife can. Anybody that knows me. I'm the same way in person that I am sitting right here. And what I say right here, I will absolutely say to somebody's face. Period. Full stop. And if we have to sell that in the parking lot and go into the gravel, man, so be it. We are who we are.
I am the same way as well. I don't care. I've always said what I believed, regardless of the consequence. And going down this road right here, we went down the First Church Road last show. And then when we finished on the First Church Road, we started going down the Charter Commission meeting. And that's where things kind of went, I ain't gonna say went sideways. I don't think it went sideways at all. But that's when someone or the realization of an opportunity presented itself. So, a lot of people have been getting phone calls, politicians, people whose names may or may not have been seen on this show, people who sponsor this show or have sponsored this show, or made donations, people who have supported this show, but they've been getting phone calls and being pressured, in some cases. I mean, and we've got a lot of messages, on the email from people who have been being pressured and contacted. And in some cases, of course, First Church 2.0, I'm not saying current First Church, I'm saying the new First Church, the First Church 2.0, some people questioning people's faith by even watching this show, by even having anything to do with this show.
We might be over the target, as they say.
So, that right there in itself is appalling, but then to take it to another level as well is also pretty egregious.
Yeah, I think so. And here's the thing to talk about is that some folks would rather, and we're going to be very specific about this in just a bit, some folks would rather limit your freedom of speech while purporting to be all about freedom of speech, while purporting to be a conservative, blah, blah, blah. And you've heard me talk about the definition of a conservative ad nauseum on this show. But again, those people, I mean, there's no better way to say it than just call them flat out liars or fake. Who was it that said in the comments? Christopher James Norris said, to me, it's better to be real and authentic than fake and phony. And we're going to see just here in a few minutes, from a political standpoint, who is fake and phony, without a doubt.
Yeah, and things y'all have to consider is who makes money off of the politics or being on the government dole. Who is making money off of government and who's not? Who's not making money? That's a consideration. So I got to tell you, after this little incident, cut one, I actually have to say, in this case, our critics, our primary critic, I think we probably agree with them. I think we should. Listen to what they have to say.
Yeah, I think so. So let me get cut one queued up here. Let me switch screens here. So give me just a minute. I'm gonna try not to get in a hurry, so I go down this cut by cut, and let me cue that up. So this is the one you want, correct?
That's the one.
All right. So, for those of you that are listening to the podcast version or those that are on mobile and maybe can't read it, you want me to read the whole thing, Duke, or just the highlighted portion?
No, I think just the highlight.
Okay.
But the context, of course, context is always important. I think even Juliana would agree context is important.
Yes.
But this is in some of her comments, and I will say she does respond to people on Facebook. She does. And
yeah, she'll respond to you, and well, I'll just leave it at yes, she'll respond to you. So anyway, the highlighted portion of this says, this is coming from Juliana Parks, Bossier Parish Police Juror, District 5, which she still has bossierwatch itself blocked from that page, oddly enough. But anyway.
And why would anybody who's not in that police jury care? Because look, this is somebody who is wanting to move up the food chain of politics, and probably at some point she's going to probably be trying to get your vote one way or the other, whether it's to be a judge, deciding issues on you.
Well,
or as a making laws that govern you. So it's important that you know what the belief system of this person.
And let's remind everybody real quick, she is, and Duke, help me out so I don't leave something out. She is an attorney for the sheriff's department. She is a police juror. All of the police jurors have appointed themselves, well, almost all of them, to the library board and run off the little old ladies at the library board. We'll talk more about that shortly. Let's see, what else? She's on the Republican PEC. What else?
On the Charter Commission now.
On the Charter Commission now. So, and she and I got into this in the parking lot, which we'll talk about some more. So, a little foreshadowing there. Last night after the Charter Commission meeting. All right. But back to this highlighted text. A little foreshadowing there. Back to this highlighted text.
So what she recommends, and we agree with it. She says, if there is one thing I know as an attorney, it's this. You never reach the right answer by making up your mind after hearing only one biased side of a story and without knowing all of the relevant information. Now, y'all remember that, because that's actually pretty good advice.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty good advice. And again, a little more foreshadowing. It's going to be very, as she said, relevant to some things that we're building up to in this. Now, I want to bring up a comment real quick. So Colonel Crockett says, can a politician block posting a website link? Can they block posting a website link? That you can't just block the ability to post a website link on social media. Facebook doesn't really give you the ability to do that. I read that comment wrong, so let's get back on track here.
Yeah. So moving along, here's the claim that took place, and we're just going to say it. So Juliana took issue with a post that one of the commenters, a frequent commenter, made on our show during the show. And it was at a point when we were having a discussion.
Right.
And she made a post with an allegation. We're going to show it. We're going to show her claim. We're going to show all that. But what we do want to show you, we were talking about the Charter Commission meeting, and we were talking about her role as an appointed member of the Charter Commission, don't set aside whether or not there's a conflict of interest in her being a police juror and then being on the Charter Commission making decisions for the how the city is structured. And then, oh, by the way, her husband is a city judge. That, the rules of the Charter Commission that could be brought up, she would be making some decisions based on that. So conflicts of interest, let's put that aside. We're not even talking about that. Not even there at all.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start queuing up the replay video from that. That'll be from the Charter Commission January 16th meeting. Is that about what we're ready for?
Yep, that's right. You're at the mark. And in a nutshell, basically what we were showing, and we're going to show actually the video of us talking during the show and when it happened, we were talking about the fact that Juliana was absent at the last meeting. She wasn't there. And we were talking about, so far, the only contribution to the 2 Charter Commission meetings that we had so far was the fact at the first one, the first thing that was of concern to her was the amount of time that comments were going to be able to be made. And the point of that was before she made that comment, both Weston Marriott from Sobo Live, he made a comment which was basically he was basically advising the Charter Commission to be weary of adopting and following the rules of the current Bossier City Council, because the current Bossier City Council was currently in the middle of a federal lawsuit for what, Rex?
Oh, I'm trying to remember.
Wanting to change the rules to
yes,
limit the speech
to limit
of the
free
public.
Speech. Yes,
and if you recall, we played, audio and that we had received of them. I don't know if conspired is the right word, but having a meeting that wasn't in the public eye, talking about doing it, like they even talked about David Crockett. So her comments, and I'm pretty confident that the only interaction that Weston Marriott and Juliana Parks have ever had or probably ever met was in that instance right there.
Yes. I think that, to the best of our knowledge, that is correct. And anyway, so let's let Juliana speak for herself, right? Because we don't want you to think that we're trying to inject our bias right now. We literally have her own words to show you. So are we ready for that, Duke?
Play it.
All right, it's pretty simple. We've already shown this in previous shows, but here we go.
Is there a time limit for people who comment?
Did y'all hear that? Let me go back and let me play it one more time. So listen carefully. This is Juliana Parks. This is the first Bossier City Charter Commission and her only substantive input into the Charter Commission at that point. So,
is there a time limit for people who comment?
Is there a time limit for people who comment?
And that comment of hers came immediately. It was the first comment after David Crockett spoke and Weston Marriott spoke.
Yes.
And it's clear she's worried about them going to talk too much. Right there out of the gate.
She doesn't mind being able to, yak into the mic all she wants and make it all about her, but she absolutely wants to limit people's free speech. Now, I guess somebody could make the argument, oh no, she was just asking about it. But again, in the full context of everything, like you said, Duke, Wes had just spoke, and Colonel Crockett had just spoke, and, gotta love Colonel Crockett. He sometimes gets long-winded, although he tries to stay within the 3-minute mark. So in the full context of that, there's not much leeway in what she was actually talking about and referring to. All right. So now let's, what do I need to do? Jump up to the 30:19 mark in the video?
3019 mark and hit play.
Okay, so give me just a second. Here we go. All right. This is where David Johnson, our good friend David Johnson, nominates Juliana as secretary, and apparently she can't be secretary, so here we go.
Go ahead and put up at this time, Mr. Chair, Mrs. Parks, if she'll forgive me for doing that. I know she's got a pretty full plate, but I think she can step up to the plate and bring some organization to this table, in this committee.
I don't believe that I have the time to be able to do that job as well as somebody else might be able to at the moment. If there's anybody else who would like to volunteer,
I would like to make a motion that Ms. Moorhart.
Okay, you can
All right,
stop.
we'll stop it right there. Now,
see,
did y'all catch that, folks?
Doesn't have the time. And interestingly, the Charter Commission meeting that you attended yesterday, I mean, she was trying to get dates of scheduled Charter Commission meetings moved because she didn't have time for
a whole
those.
month. For a whole month.
So, and look, don't take our word for it. We will play that video as well at the end of this show or the beginning of the next show when we thoroughly go through that Charter Commission meeting. We're not making this up because she will say, oh, those guys, she's already calling people around town saying, oh, they're liars, they're dirtbags, they're the devil's spawn, whatever. I mean, you think of it. I mean, she has the language knowledge here. I mean, not us, obviously, but anyway, let's move along.
Yeah, I want to. Boy, there's so much I could say to that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Do we want to get last week's show queued up to that time point and have it waiting?
Well, if you move down a little bit further, I think that what we need to do is we need to show, because we're not done it, we need to show what exactly it was that she posted and what because we haven't basically told everybody what is the problem here. Why are these guys going on and on about this?
Yeah, a lot of folks in the audience, I didn't even think of that. A lot of you may not actually know what the heck we're even talking about or why we're dedicating the majority of a show to all this. So now, here's where the warning comes in. This first screenshot that I'm going to show does not contain, I don't think, any language, but we're showing what Juliana has posted.
Hey, what day of the week do we do shows?
Let's see. For the past 3 to 4 years, I think it's been Tuesday. We did do a few, Louisiana Watches on Thursdays, but pretty much I think we decided on Tuesday a couple of shows into it, and it worked out great, and it's been a Tuesday.
Oh, okay. So these last two Charter Commission meetings, with the exception of the one that you went to last night, what days were those on?
Well, they were on Tuesdays as well.
Oh, that's interesting. And then the one you went to yesterday was on a Monday, right?
Yeah, they had actually changed it to a Monday. And look, credit to the Charter Commission for putting one on a Monday in the evening, because that allowed me time to go to it. And it wasn't on a Tuesday, so it didn't interfere with bossierwatch, which having late evening meetings on Tuesdays interferes with our shows because we like to see everybody every Tuesday.
All right. So we're doing our show, reviewing the Charter Commission meeting, giving our opinion, about different subjects, and one of them being Juliana's absence. And, we're scrolling along. People are making comments. We see some of them. We don't see all of them. There's, again, last show we had, at one point, it was 260 something live viewers. I have no idea what the count was at the moment that the comment that is being alleged to have been made was made exactly, although we have the timestamp, but we can't know the quantity of people that was watching. So
it's safe to say a lot of people were simultaneously watching at that point in time.
It was at least 160 people, to 200 like is on watching right now.
Yes, and just so y'all know, I don't really show the screen very much, but basically I've got 4 monitors, an iPad, and an iPhone here. Duke, I know you have multiple monitors and devices going at one time. But when there are a lot of people watching and a lot of people commenting, which we love, I don't see every comment because I have to scroll back, but I try to pick out ones that are relevant to what we're talking about at the moment. You know, or
Now-
I
now-
may, while Duke's talking, I may
Now-
scroll back and go pick out select comments.
Now, make no mistake, we're not making no excuses here,
Right.
and we're not nothing. So
Just
what was-
explaining for full context what transpired, and typically transpires every Tuesday night.
All right. So what is the claim here, Rex? What got
Well,
her dander up?
I was sent this screenshot. So our show, again, is every Tuesday night. I just can't say that enough now. She got me started. And I was sent this screenshot. Let's see, Tuesday, the following Wednesday, mid-morning, early morning. I'd have to go back and look and see. All right, but here it is, and I realize it may be hard to read for those of you that aren't friends with Juliana. She sent out a post. Apparently, she didn't make it public. So here's the other thing, and Duke, you touched on this earlier. Literally everything we do is public. Everything we do on Bossier Watch is posted publicly. Every show back to show number 1, everything we have said is out there for the public record. The posts are all completely public. She does this and limits the post so we can't see it to friends or whatever it was. Friends of friends, I don't know. Anyway, she limits the post. Well, that in itself should tell you everything you need to know about her. She's deceitful. Period. Full stop right off the bat. But here's what she said. For those of you that can't read the small type, it says, "Good afternoon, friends. If you are seeing this," and I can't really do it in Juliana's whiny voice, so forgive me. "If you are seeing this, it is because you are on my close friends list. I have a request. If you watch a show called Bossier Watch or support it in any way, please stop or delete me. I can handle the relentless bashing for doing nothing but having a voice in the town. Frankly, I just ignore it and don't waste my brain cells watching. But when they stoop to allowing one of their favorite watchers post calling me the C word while they did their weekly mocking of me, they crossed a line. This isn't about me. It's about the young women I mentor daily, who I encourage to speak out and work to make our city and parish a better place. This is about our daughters, who should be able to pursue their dreams without fear of constant harassment because they have chosen to serve the public." Now, that's about the best reading I can do, Duke. Now, folks, I want to ask y'all. Did any, I mean, I know we mention cockroaches. We mention that about every week and keep saying that we need to, revive the cockroach of the week deal. And honestly, folks, in the show points, when I mention the C word, that's what I'm talking about, is cockroach. But I got to tell you, we're fixing to show you another word that Juliana has posted. But I'll quit rambling, and I want to ask y'all this. For everybody that was watching that show last week, did you hear us say the C word other than cockroach, or did you see us mention it at any point in time? Did anybody? All right, Duke, I'm off my soapbox for a minute.
Oh no, there is another portion to that screen, and you need to show the other part, and let's just keep rolling right on through it. So people know now what the accusation is and what Juliana is claiming. And again, like you said, and everybody is welcome to go back and they can watch the show themselves. In fact, we're going to show and play that portion of the show. But if you want to watch the whole show and see at any point how blatant we are at calling people names, go in there. But Rex, I gotta ask this question. If why have we not ever done that before? Why suddenly do we feel the need to do that? I mean, why do we have to do that? We don't point her out. She's not the subject of our show every week.
No.
But we've made no bones about it that we do not think she is a good public servant, that she essentially is out for herself.
Look, when she says dumb stuff and makes dumb comments politically from an elected position, we're going to call her out. We're going to call out anybody. We call out Tommy. We call out David Montgomery. Heck, I've even called out Chris Smith. We had him on a show, and if you back up and remember that one, he was not a happy camper with me. And, well, with
But
you temporarily till
yeah,
I fessed up to it.
yeah, but here's the deal though. She's a woman. We're men. We can't. She's off limits, right?
Yeah. I
Well,
guess so. What
I
I
mean,
don't
I'm
know what the new rules of engagement are these days. I
well.
really don't.
I think
Apparently, I'm lost. Oh, and I forgot that gummit. I've got to have the Urban Dictionary up. I keep forgetting about that. But
Okay,
let's
so
go ahead and show the. Before I show that screenshot, Duke, I'm warning everybody now. We are going to show you a word that many of you, including us, would typically find highly offensive. So we're going to show it. It'll be a little fuzzy, so it's not going to be blatant. We're not going to say it, or, well, not right now. But if you have kids watching, if you have young daughters watching, as she alluded to, we're giving you fair warning now. Put cotton in their ears and don't let them see the screen. Okay. So
well, they ain't got to put the cotton in their ears, but maybe
I know.
blindfold them. Or
Maybe
don't let them
blindfold
watch the TV. I mean, look, Juliana's already educating the public out there.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
doing it for everybody.
She educated
Literally.
me. I didn't know what this meant. So when I read that first screenshot, let me set the context for this. So when I first got the first screenshot where she made that post, I just tapped on that one and I was like, the heck is she talking about? I say a lot of stuff and call people a lot of names, and I might call Gary Weish an asshat every now and then, but I would definitely know if I said that particular word. And I'm thinking, what is she talking about? Is she talking about she's tired of being called a cockroach? So then, though, I swiped over and tapped on this screenshot and got a little, I guess, urban education. So let me finish her email and we'll get to the bottom part of it.
Wait a minute. Why are we beating up on the urban people? Why can't it be country?
Well, because it's called Urban Dictionary. It's not called the Country Dictionary or the Redneck Dictionary.
Oh, so you think rednecks can't use foul stuff?
Well,
anyway,
I know plenty of rednecks that have used plenty of foul
point.
language. Look, and I'm going to say this, and then I'll move on and actually get into the screenshot. Duke, you've heard me say many times, folks, y'all have heard me say many times too. The reason I don't call any of our politicians Representative so-and-so or Senator so-and-so or Councilman so-and-so is I have been in too many backroom meetings with these same people who in the public eye, they like to come across as good Christians and faithful and never say a bad word, never drink, never smoke, never do all this. But in those backroom meetings, I've been cussed like a sailor. I have heard some words that I didn't even know. And I do say a few expletives every now and then. There's no doubt about it. We try not to on the show. So that's the reason that I just call them all by their first names because they put their pants on just like Duke and I do. It's that simple. All right.
Yeah. So anyway, so there you see the, and I'm going to read it. See you next Tuesday in the part of the screenshot there. So, all right, guys, if we get kicked off, we get kicked off of Facebook, we'll be on YouTube because some people, there's a theory out there that there is an organized effort to get us deplatformed. And if they can get us to read or say that, they can get the whole show kicked off so that all of you will be prevented from hearing about what your local elected officials do. And when you say, oh, dude, that's a little bit of a stretch that maybe they're a little organized, or maybe it's an organized effort. Well, we're going to show you a couple of things that you may not, to the naked eye, you may not. Oh, wait a minute. I said naked eye. Am I?
Uh-oh. Be careful, Duke. Let me run that through the Urban Dictionary filter. Look, let me throw the.
I better hang on. Everybody, wait a second. I got a little book here. I got to check it out. Make sure we're not crossing the line.
So while you're doing that, let me also point out something to everybody. And you've heard me say this on the show many times, and Duke, you can kind of testify to this. Back in the day, I used to do certain things for certain candidates that they didn't want to have necessarily traced back to the campaign, and I'll just leave it at that. For somebody to go through 500 comments and pick this comment out that I don't think, we've gone back through the video, I didn't show on the screen because I just honestly didn't see it. for somebody to go out and pick that comment out after the show when we had 200 and something church folks, primarily church folks, 68% of we know are women watching, and nobody noticed it. But to go out and pick that comment out.
Oh, wait a minute. You said
this is
nobody.
This is the pot calling the kettle black.
Now you said an important point here. You said nobody noticed it. How many complaints did we get? If we had a show that was based on church politics where we had 260 something live viewers, the majority being women, why did we not get anybody else offended and making a complaint?
I got 0 complaints. Did you get any, Duke?
Absolutely none.
We don't have any production person. We do it all. So we're it. If we were going to get a complaint directed at us, we would have gotten it about the show. The only complaints we got were people sending us these screenshots of what the controversy she was trying to invent and gin up. And I argue for political purposes because I got to tell you, Duke, back in the day, this is what I would have tried to dig up and blow up into a big issue and have successfully done before and been paid to do it, by the way.
You know what this brings to mind? Share my screen and we'll move along, but share my screen. And I got to tell you, if the shoe fits, you have to wear it, right? I think this is where we're heading. I really do.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, look, I got to tell you, I admittedly, from a political perspective, like you, we're both political wonks. And, I thought it was a pretty smart play on their part. I really did. I thought it was smart. They were, going to appeal to the largest viewers of our show. And, there is some merit to what they're saying in regards to that terminology. In fact, it's a real thing on the quote unquote "see you next Tuesday" statement. There is something there that actually is a thing. Again, I appreciate that Juliana gave me an education this past week.
I don't know if I would say appreciate, but we definitely got an education in filth and down in the sewer with the rats. Hence the name of the show. And we didn't even invent that. That was sent to us as a comment from somebody that I'm not going to name the person.
Well, we hadn't got there yet. And everybody is probably, we're getting there. Everybody's probably wondering, how did we completely get here? If you'll go to cut 3, I think how we'll get here and why is it that we didn't have any other complaints? Why have no other women? Why did they not take offense to this?
Do I get to show the victim card?
I think so. Well, it goes back to it was brought to our attention that Juliana is not a card-carrying victim card carrier. I mean,
and that is usable at any political location near you.
I think she probably has $1 million line of credit there. I mean, I really do.
Yeah, I wonder what her credit limit is. It's got to be endless to be the victim.
Yeah, her go-to defense is always poor, pitiful Juliana. I'm a woman. You're beating guys or people or even women because we've seen plenty of comments where she, kind of alluded that people are beating up on her and picking on her. That's her go-to is the victim card. And
she did it last night at the Charter Commission meeting. Literally tried to play it then.
I mean, to me, and I'm not a woman. I mean, my wife doesn't do the victim thing. I mean, she's tough. She doesn't have to do that. She's not going to play that card. But to the majority of women out there, I think it's insulting to them for her to do this all the time. Be tough. Don't freaking play the victim card. You bow up and stand on your principles. And she finally did it this last charter meeting, but we'll get there.
Yeah,
I'm jumping way ahead.
That's a whole other conversation. Now, I want to pause for a second. I want to put this comment up by Matthew Childs. He says, wish there was a Bossier Watch Cliffs Notes. You can watch grass grow in the winter by the time someone actually makes a point. and we take that constructive criticism. So here's what you can do, Matthew Childs. You can always watch the replay, and there's this little thing that they've had in video for quite some time now. It's called the scrubbing button, and you can literally fast forward. There are even services where you can play the video faster if you want to, and hear us talk faster if you want to, but we appreciate the criticism.
Yeah, we do. And Matt, we do understand that this is boring, wonky crap. But I mean, Juliana is a wily politician. We'll give her, she's smooth.
Yes.
And when she makes an allegation like she's made, and she's playing the victim card, and she is accusing bossierwatch, that's Rex and I, and then she's accusing Weston Marriott. So, principal people who are arguably, and I'm not saying this being arrogant, on the front end of trying to change politics in Bossier Parish by bringing to light the activities in your local governments, what's happening with your tax dollars. And, Rex, it's that thing we always say, you might be getting over the target,
Might be getting close to the truth.
So what exactly, we haven't showed the comment. We haven't got to the comment, and I put the actual, video of the show on the YouTube, and I think the time stamp, we need to play it so everybody has context.
Okay,
Hang
so
in
here
there,
we
y'all.
go.
We're getting there.
Yep, we're backing up to last week. This is the show. We were in the midst of the Charter Commission meeting, so this is the show from last week off the YouTube page. You can go look at it. It's the same live show we posted. It's unedited, all that kind of good stuff. No conspiracy theories here. And I guess let's go and play it. So we'll show the comment here in a minute, but this is the time point at which that particular comment was made, because our software that we use keeps a log of everybody's comments with the timestamp. So here we go. So this is the rewind or replay of last week's show for about 30 seconds here. I'll do the live review too. And so that way we can have dual control of it.
Dadgummit, I can't find my live review button, and so you're going to have to take control.
Upper right.
For whatever reason, it's not showing. Anyway.
Okay. All right. That's all right. Just tell me where you
Someone messaged me and said, hey, they said, tell us who was missing.
Here we go.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I only see that there was one member that was not present today.
Yeah, they can't get a full deal at any particular meeting, but the new member, and I'm trying to, forgive me for not knowing her name, maybe Colonel Crockett, or somebody can put it in the comments real quick.
Good grief. Come on now. Look at that screen. Who is missing?
I know who's missing. Julie, your favorite person, and Juliana is missing. I'm talking about the lady on the far left, our left, camera left, who is the one of the members. She wasn't there last week. Now she's there, and Juliana's missing. Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there, Mr. Lowry, because that's the point at which the offending word was said, or was it?
Well, I'm wondering, has anyone yet heard the word that was alleged in your local elected official, Juliana Parks, your public servant who is looking out for, everybody? She's there to save the world because only her and the other police jurors can do it. Has any of you heard the offending word? Have you heard anybody say anything like that, or any derogatory comment?
Did any of you actually see it? You might remember it from the show. And we're going to talk about where the comment is now here in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this comment over on top of the screen. So here it is. And I'm going to go ahead and blow it up. It was at the 1:40 or hour 44 minute 32 second mark. And it was, it says, Wes Marriott of City Council fame and Sobo Live, Parks, will see you ... I mean Monday. Now, honestly, I don't think I remember seeing that in the comment scroll. I would have probably put it on the screen if I had, but as you can see in the show, I didn't put it on the screen. I would have probably put that in the screen because I was taking a swipe at her for the Monday, Tuesday ordeal between the Charter Commission meetings and changing them to Monday. And lo and behold, there was another meeting Monday night. Duke, what was that meeting at 6 p.m. Monday evening?
That was the Bossier Parish Republican Executive Committee, in which Juliana got herself on so that she could get another feather to put on in her cap, to put on a push card to tell all of y'all how Republican and conservative she is, how limited government she is, and transparent she is, when she seeks to get your support the next time around.
So the comment was buried in the comments during the show. It was not shown live simply because I didn't see it. I would have shown it not knowing the Urban Dictionary connotation of the dadgum thing. Had I noticed the comment going by. And she makes a big issue of it, but in the full context of we were literally making fun of Juliana for being absent from the meeting. There's a Charter Commission meeting that was moved to Monday. There's a PEC meeting that was also Monday. So there's lots of things going on. I'm giving Wes the benefit of the doubt that that's what he was referring to, because we asked him, and that's what he told us, was that he was referring to the meeting changes.
Well, so look, some may ask, because if you go back and you watch the video on YouTube, some may ask, well, wait a minute, because the comments will pop up there in the time that they were posted. That comment's not there anymore, Rex.
Yes. Well, actually, I think he made it from the Facebook side. So, according to Wes, the reason the comment doesn't show in our show comments, if you actually go to the Facebook page and that video post and look down through all those 500 comments, there's one less because, lo and behold, I think it was the following day, somebody reported that comment to Facebook, and he got a notification to take that down at risk of getting put in Facebook jail. So he removed the comment. So that's why it doesn't show there. Now, that's pretty much the full context of what had happened. What had happened was, so we want to give that to you because she obviously didn't. And look, we don't mind politicians taking swipes at us. It's not that. She accused me, and accused Duke of doing something that we absolutely didn't do. And no, Colonel Crockett, we are not kidding. This is really, she's literally been calling her and Allie Feaster-Smith of, political fame, are literally calling all the local politicians, telling them we called her the C word, the actual C word.
And not just the local politicians. They're trying to make this a faith-based thing, calling women, like multiple Republican women, calling women in that they know from churches, saying that have watched our show, calling them, trying to pressure them to say that we're using, the C word and calling them names. We're openly doing it and just having fun about it and doing it, which is a bald-faced lie, deception, and deceit. That is the worst. Why do we have to do that?
Look, here's the deal.
Every show say what we think, and we don't have to put ourselves in the gutter.
I'm switching to the bigger screen now for a reason. If I wanted to call Juliana, or any politician for that matter, whatever name for whatever reason, two things. A, I would absolutely say it on the show at risk of getting deplatformed. And B, I will absolutely say it to their face without even blinking an eye. So yes, she has made or trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. It's backfiring on her. But, she's got to do something because she's desperate. Again, we've got to be close over the target, and probably West Marriott too.
So, there's multiple takeaways here. She, in her post, you know, and I've got it. You keep going down. I've got the Dropbox. I mean, the video thing. Anyway, but she neglects to inform you that one, you know, Weston Marriott was at the meeting and he spoke in regards to, you know, them not following the Bossier City method of conducting a meeting, which was to try to censor public comments and to silence people's opportunity to be able to speak. She neglects to inform you that the next meeting, at the meeting that she was absent, it was rescheduled from that Tuesday to that next Monday. She wasn't there. The truth of the matter is when she went losing her mind trying to get everybody canceled, she probably didn't know that the meeting had been rescheduled to Monday. She probably didn't know. And
because we've confirmed that there was not, and I may be restating what you just said because I was trying to get the video queued up, or make sure I had it queued up. But we have confirmed that at that point, at the point I was sent the screenshot of what she posted, no email had been sent at that point in time to the Charter Commission members that the meeting had been changed. So she would have had to have been watching that video, which she may have done, to be able to know that that meeting had moved. So you just got to follow the bouncing ball here for a second, folks.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't think we didn't point out that the meeting had been changed on the live review. We didn't go there. So unless she was watching the Charter, you know, Commission meeting live that she was not present at, I mean, she wouldn't have been informed until the next day sometime when the opportunity to, you know, make a political move.
Yes. All right. Now, before we go to the next charter, I've got that video pulled up.
Keep going. Keep going down to there's a link to Law and Crime.
Okay. So, do we want to get to the point where I posted, and I may be jumping ahead, but I'm trying to follow the notes. Do we want to get to the point where I posted the meme yet?
No, not the response. Okay. Go down to just above that, and I want to go to this link. So last week at the same time, interestingly, guys, y'all may or may not have heard, but this isn't the first occasion of the quote unquote "see you next Tuesday" accusation of a politician. In fact, I think the charge that we were doing it and or West Marriott was doing it or trying to use that term or the language of the rat, she would say. In fact, it happened in another case. Supposedly,
I'm
the
getting
national
all
media
kind of
released that at some point when, well, apparently, all of a sudden, some of the people that are after Trump said that supposedly on a podcast up out of DC, and then all the little media started running with it, and it happened Monday or Tuesday is when the media started running with this, talking about that supposedly Donald Trump used the term "see you next Tuesday" to the attorney of E. Jean Carroll, who was going to be back at Mar-a-Lago the following Tuesday for another deposition. So I'm just wondering, did our political friends get an idea from the national media?
Imagine
I don't know.
that.
It's starting to seem like a common theme of a gotcha thing here. And it only applies one way. It'll only apply to a man, you know. I don't think it can apply the other way.
Well, in the old days, this would have been done under a whisper campaign, but she couldn't exactly do that. I mean, she tried to. She only limited it to her friends or followers or whatever it was. But of course, look, if you're going to accuse me of doing something that I didn't do, I'm absolutely going to take the football and run with that. All right, let's get the Bass Pro Shops ad out of the way. Okay. All right, so where do we need to move from here, Duke?
Well, let's get on down to your response. So when we, you know, everybody's got it by now. You know, so she makes the accusation that both you and I and Weston Marriott was calling her the C word. And now she didn't say it was doing by code, but if you read between the lines, she was saying we was doing it by default by using the "see you next Tuesday" thing. Right. So at that point, I mean, we both know that it's bull crap. And, she forced us, good political move. She forced us into fight or flight, adding the Thelma and Louise. She's got us right there. She's fixing to cuff and stuff us. Well, what are we going to do? Are we just going to let her take us down, or are we just...
Anybody that knows me, and you know as well as anybody, Duke, I run straight into the fight. I do not run from it. So I posted this post showing our stats, because y'all have heard me refer to this across multiple shows, that, our reach and our views are more than she has or had as voters. It's the truth. It's a joke. But it's the truth. But I was absolutely going to begin the trolling process here. And so, after she raised this issue, accused us of something that we've already shown and proven that we absolutely didn't do, I said, all right, if you're going to accuse me of it, it's my 10 times rule, Duke. If you're going to hit me, I'm going to hit back 10 times harder. So here was my first trolling post. And for those of you that don't know what that means, we'll talk about that more in a minute. And so I put up here a huge thank you as a reminder to our favorite member of the Bossier Parish Police Jury, Juliana Parks. We have more than 3 times the followers as she had voters, and we have more views of Show 190 in 24 hours than she had as voters. Remember, our show is every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. It's been that way for 190 plus shows. And we're about to relaunch Louisiana Watch. Follow us. See y'all next Tuesday. And of course, I put, we'll make sure and see you next Tuesday down there in the graphic. That is called trolling. It is also known as trying to run her blood pressure up at that point.
No, wait a minute. I'm confused. We are using English here. We're talking about our show, and you said you said the bad word. Don't all of y'all see it? Rex made this post, and don't y'all see he's using the bad word?
Wait, Duke, did I slip up and say it during my rant and rave and soapbox?
No, it's right there in front of everybody. Can't y'all all see it?
Did I put it anywhere? Did Facebook accidentally put it in our stats?
Well, I mean, according to Juliana, it's there. It's what our intent was. That's what we're meaning.
I mean, folks, y'all can go back and look at the post. It's on under Bossier Watch on Facebook right now. This is just a screenshot of literally the exact same post.
Well, why do I say that? Go to the next cut.
Okay, so let me go to cut number 9. So I'm gonna not get in a hurry. So I drag and drop everything correctly. All right, cut number 9. Oh, more Juliana. She's sharing with an update. How lovely. She says, update. I have received evidence, photo attached, that the show now claims it was purposely allowed the reprehensible comment to get more viewers. That's right. They call women the C word to get viewers. Pure evil. Our kids see this. No, Juliana. The only kids that have seen the C word is, well, you literally posted the C word itself. We've shown that. But I digress. We wonder why bullying and suicide is rampant. Duke, did you know we were contributing to the suicide rate?
I had no idea how horrible I was, but thank you, Juliana, for informing me and letting me know of what I'm saying that I obviously don't know that I'm saying. But anyway.
Y'all see it right here. We are contributing to bullying and suicide. And it's rampant.
Well,
she's alluding to that. I mean, she's a lawyer. She didn't directly say we did it, but she just alluded to it. Nice play on words, Juliana.
Again, I go back to, if it was so obvious what Weston's post and us agreeing with it and supporting it, I mean, why is she the only one that, it wasn't until they started a political campaign. Why is it that was the first complaint that anybody heard? Why did we not hear it?
From our own viewers.
There were a lot of reputable people that were watching the show. I mean, that's just what I want to do, is make a vulgar description of somebody or whatever and insult them. Who believes that?
Yeah. You're right, Colonel Crockett. Colonel Crockett says this is beyond absurd. It is, but it is what it is. And at least we have something to talk about tonight. But that is also taking us away from the Charter Commission meeting and the Republican Executive Committee meeting that we could have been talking about. But oh no, Marsha from the Brady Bunch days. It's always got to be about Juliana.
So,
All right.
So what we're talking about here is, you know what? The bottom line is this is not language that we use. This is not us.
Wait a minute. We have to be careful here. My wife, she used the dollar signs though. She said when someone assumes something that makes you look like an A double dollar sign. I need to run that through the Urban Dictionary real quick, honey. So thank you for giving me something to look up.
Good job. Good job. So cut 12, one of our viewers, again, we sent us a comment because they were abreast of this and they actually had the best description of this. And
yeah.
It's how we named the show.
Yes. Says, as for Juliana, if you live in a gutter, you know the language of rats. Now, neither one of us are going to reveal who made this comment, but let me just say it was from someone that you would not expect to make this particular comment.
Well, now, Rex, I want you to listen to me, and I want you to listen to me close, and all of y'all watching this show. I strongly disagree with this.
Oh, you do?
I want y'all to know that. I mean, I strongly disagree with this because I think I got another idea about this.
Oh, well, okay. So let me type up a reply to Mr. Ferris here, and why don't you tell me why you strongly disagree with it?
Well, I think Juliana, I think she spent too much time at the library.
Duke, she is on the library board. I mean, remember, the police jury appointed most of the police jurors to the library board and kicked out the little old ladies. We covered that year
it's made up all of police jurors, all of it. But I mean, she is more educated than all of us on all this crap because she's been at the library too much.
Well, how would you know that? Look, to be clear, I haven't been to the library in many, many years. I don't even think I don't have a current library card. I know that, and I hadn't had one in a long time. So how would you know that she spent too much time there?
Well, so look, when all of this drama started happening, I mean, I was in my truck. I was riding down, Bean Boulevard or whatever it is over there, and I didn't have my charger for my phone. It died, and I was like, I do not understand this terminology. I've got to catch myself up. So I said, hey, I'm right here by the library. I'm just going to go into the library. Maybe I can learn something about what Juliana's talking about here. Maybe I can educate myself.
Well, now, but pause there for a second though, because I mean the police jurors are now all on the library board, so there should be nothing, absolutely nothing, that is anywhere close to being disparaging or denigrating or anything like that, right?
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, that's not the case. In fact, I mean, I've got one book right here I rented, and, it's called 9 Nasty Words. If anybody wants to go to the website and check us right now on the Bossier Parish Library thing. And, well, here, let me start reading all of these derogatory words, including the one that Julie. Wait a minute. What?
But I got to give another disclaimer, Duke. Hold on. If we get kicked off or deplatformed, just jump to YouTube, Twitter, or whichever one we're not kicked off on. And number 2, we apologize in advance to anybody that may be offended by watching this. Here we go. You've had fair warning.
Well, but Juliana, I mean, not Juliana, Rex. I mean, look, let me read. We have hands. More formally, we might call them manual extremities. In slang, we might call them paws or mitts. But wait a minute. Wait a minute. Well, you get the idea where this is going. Some of us have, others of us have, but while hand is a word that traces endlessly back into the Old English and beyond, and we're talking about sexual parts. Oh, by the way, that any kids that want to go in there, oh, wait a minute, here's a listing of, quite a few derogatory terms, words. We can get into race, racial slurs, and all of that stuff right there in the Bossier Parish Library, care of. But wait a minute, it's not just one book, Rex. Hey, wait a minute. I found a whole bunch of other content. Mother Tongue, The Surprising History of Women's Words, and, the subject matter to which Juliana was talking about. I think this is on page 90 right here, but I'm not going to read. I'm not going to read out of that one. But there's that one. But wait, I got some more.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, there was a book called Word Slut. There were
Whoa. Do I need to run word slut through the Urban Dictionary?
Well, I don't know. I don't
and
know
again,
it all.
We apologized in advance and disclaimed what we're saying.
I only had so much time to spend in the library that your kids are going to, that Juliana is saying that, they need to be protected.
Well, wait a minute. Now, I may not be following the notes here, but surely these have to be books that are way up on a top shelf behind lock and key, right?
Well, no, they were just fiction. I mean, if you're, and I even took the time to go back to the policies of the library system to see, and 10 years old, hey, you can get all of this. If you're under 10, you have to be accompanied by an adult. But maybe she's talking about people under 10 years old that are the only ones that need protecting. I mean, maybe those just, I don't know.
So a little bit of foreshadowing here. Thomas Shea said, why doesn't she just call the show and give her side of the story, especially after hearing the other side for clarification? A little bit of foreshadowing. I literally gave her the opportunity face-to-face last night. We'll talk about that. More to come. Much more of this drama.
So I'm dying to know why I found books with, what she finds so offensive and accuses us of saying, yet, and that we need to protect the kids, yet she's not done it while sitting on the library board. And, okay, so maybe I'm kind of going to the extremes, Rex. Maybe I am, but I got to tell you, it shocked me with the little bit of searching there that what I found. So I did a little bit of a search. I went and found several other books, but I went to I think it was the American Library Association, talking about what are the most banned books? What are the most ones that are peeled? Well, the top 13 books, if you'll go to cut 4, and then you'll be able to scroll up and you can show everybody. And I jumped ahead a little bit.
That's all right.
Of the top 13, that were, and you'll see, and you'll scroll up a book, Rex, and then pause it, and you can see the claims.
Cut 4 is a video file. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, hold on. Let me do this. So it's going to take me a couple of button presses.
Well, anyway, so they had 13 books listed as the most banned books in the United States. And of those 13 books, guess what? All of them except for one are available in the Bossier Parish Library system.
Okay, so I'm ready. I'm ready with the video. So here we go. I'm gonna
go ahead.
Send it live. Okay.
Scroll. Yeah, stop right there. Stop.
All right. Got it.
Again.
Yep. It'll take it a second. Oh, wait. Let me go back. Sorry, I didn't have it in live mode. Tell me when. Right there.
Okay. There's number 1, gender queer. LGBTQIA content claimed to be sexually explicit. That's the number 1 book. The number 2 book, this was the only one that I couldn't find in the Bossier Parish Library. So
all boys aren't blue.
Yep. Okay. Keep going to the next one.
All right.
The bluest eye, there, that one, depiction of sexual abuse, EDI content. I don't even know what that is. Claimed to be sexually explicit, but I'll bet Juliana can tell me. Go to number 4. Flamer, LGBTQIA and content, claimed to be sexually explicit. There was that one. It was available. Looking for Alaska. Do I need to keep going on all of these?
What are these? I don't even want to know the answer to that. Apparently, I either need to go to the library and get up to speed on the times, or I just need to stay out of the library.
Well, hey, and look, I mean, there's even a book called The Kite Runner. I mean, and this book, The Kite Runner, it articulates a rape scene of a 13-year-old boy by a group of bullies, males. I mean, Juliana is doing, and the police jury, Tom Salzer, y'all are doing a wonderful job of looking out for the
would
kids in
someone
Bossier.
hold on? Would someone please think of the children? To use
Yeah.
something very cliche.
So, but look, hey, if you want to get the Kite Runner, y'all can go to the Halton Library, and they got it on DVD for your kid. Your
Hey, I
10-year-old can.
wonder if they're going to have it in that brand spanking new library. Is that thing open yet? Did they already open that?
They probably gonna have a special session for it. But
yeah,
Rex,
2-for-1 deal.
But I gotta beg the question here to everybody watching. I want to know if you can go to the library and you can get this book, The Kite Runner, that depicts a sexual rape of a 13-year-old boy by a group of other bully boys, and you can get it on DVD at the Halton Library. Is that porn?
Yeah. And I want to point out, our good friend Jeffrey Sadow, hold that thought. He points out this was covered about a year ago in one of his articles. All right. Good point there, Mr. Sadow. Always a friend of the show.
But I'm wondering, so all of the Team Parks people, because then there's some people, in fact, one of them, somebody that I've known for over 30 years without even considering any alternative, he expressed, some outrage at that we would get in the gutter and say words and use words. Well, I ain't seen us use those words yet, or
I
heard
would
it.
say the correct term is faux outrage.
So I'm wondering where Juliana, who has been enabling all this filth in the public library, and the people who are getting on board with her on this to cancel us from exposing what they're doing. I'm just wondering about their outrage. Are they going to let Juliana know how outraged they are about what's available in the library at Bossier? I'm thinking they're fair and balanced, and they're not hypocrites, right?
Oh,
right?
Surely not. Surely they're not hypocritical, Duke.
Sure.
I mean, they're public officials.
I mean, surely us devils and what we're reporting here,
heathens.
Heathens here, that your elected officials and your local government, it's your tax dollars, y'all are paying for this, and they're saying they're looking out for you. I don't know. What am I missing?
It's beyond pale. And look, full disclosure, folks, we've been saying we're going to get back to the police jury and all those shenanigans for a while. Well, thank you, Juliana, for reminding us that we needed to take a closer look at the library board.
Needed that. So go to cut 5.
Okay, so let me put up a comment. Carrie H. Waldron says, I'm more offended that these books are available to children than the C word. I know that cockroach of the week is a terrible word to say.
Yeah, let's go to cut 5 real quick and then cut 6. And the only reason I want to go to cut 5 is because I want y'all to know that I went looking in the policies of the library, and I could have missed something, but the only thing I found that was limiting a kid from being able to get to where I got to with these books is that if they were under 10 years old, to be in there, they had to be have a guardian or a parent or somebody like that. That's good. But right here, children age 10 and older may use the library on their own. However, parents are still responsible for the actions and well-being of their children. So the police jury just said, hey, you know what? It's not on us. It's on y'all. So if your kid goes to the library and they get in there looking for books and they come across this stuff, it's your fault. It's not their fault. It's not Juliana's fault. It's your fault.
Well, and look at the comment right here. The next sad thing is the churches in Bossier Parish are silent on the library books, like gutter crickets. What the heck?
Oh, yeah. The leader of the First Church 2.0 political opera behind the cancel culture of us for calling out local officials. I mean, I'm wondering if she's going to, ramp everybody up to get some of this stuff cleaned up at the library. Oh, wait a minute. I guess she's not, because that would conflict with Miss Parks's mission and, promoting herself.
She's on a mission from God to save the penguin. Okay. So I've got cut 6 pulled up, and there's a little highlighted portion there. So let's give the full context of this as this comment as we know it anyway. So go ahead, Duke.
Well, someone was questioning about that, sent her a question, and Juliana is good about responding to the questions, regarding the takeover of the library board. And Juliana Parks basically says it right here. She says, "It seems to me a police juror would represent the people better on the library board than someone appointed." So she's in effect saying that they can protect the library better than what you or me or anybody else out there in the public. All of y'all aren't capable. You have to be first elected to be able to, do the job of protecting our kids. Only they can do it. Only she can do it.
Only she can do it. Only Juliana can say, "Save us, Juliana, save us." All right, so I'm getting ready to queue up the next video. Let me get my mouse to play nicely.
Yeah, so the thing is, you see what Juliana's why is right here. And now we're going to play you Juliana, her own words. You can listen to her. And
right, not us. We can ramble on for days about this. Yeah.
Yeah, let her tell you why it was so imperative that the police jury take over the library. Now, you already saw the stuff that, don't take my word for it. You can go to the Bossier Parish website right now and you can search for any of those books that I listed, and they might not be available right now. Somebody may have it checked out. It may be a 10-year-old somewhere in Bossier that they're re-educating. But what does Juliana have to say, Rex?
Okay, so this is the October 2nd PEC meeting, and I can't remember if we covered this part of it in a previous show, but this was, she was giving her a little stump speech about how she was going to save everybody's children. Somebody think of the children. Anyway, let's let her talk.
You saw, as Republicans in this room, if you saw what was going on and why we had to take it over, you would be shocked, okay? The fact that any Republican is against that is just shocking to me, because there is clearly a national effort for liberals to take over libraries and to put stuff in there to tarnish the minds of our kids. And there were books that had been ordered by the prior library director that talk about, are targeted to 3-year-olds picking their sex. I mean, it was really bad. And so we had to appoint, it was very woke. And so because we are elected to the parish, we have the same values as the people in the parish. We did, for the interim, do that. We could have done away with the board altogether. That's clearly allowed by the statute, but we didn't. For a temporary time, to get it back into line, we appointed ourselves, took on the extra job of that, and have made...
Okay, took on that extra job. She's all doing us a favor. I want to point out again, this was in October. So how much time does it take, Juliana, to get the smut out of the library's accessibility to the kids?
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen it, how could any Republican? Well, I'm wondering, look, Doug Rimmer, I don't really dislike Doug Rimmer, but Doug Rimmer is not disagreeing with anything that she's saying.
No, he's a nice enough guy. He, like my grandmother used to say, just lets his mouth continually overload his arse.
But he is agreeing with her. He's sitting there bobbing his head up and down. He's on the same page with her. Because of all the stuff that's in the library, they had to do it. And Tom Salzer is there. You can't see him. He's off camera. Tom Salzer was standing, that's one of your South Bossier police jurors, standing right there in lockstep agreement. So what I would say to all of y'all is all three of those police jurors right there, why have they not cleaned? They want to make the accusations of how horrible we are by, some comment that, in our opinion, Wes didn't make the comment with any ill effect. In fact, we asked him, and we'll get to, he gave us a response, and we're going to give you what his response is here in just a minute. But y'all tell me you heard her words, and I've showed you books right now. Right now, they can't take it off and delete it. You can go to the Bossier Parish website, look up those book names right now, and go look up, just do a search. Take your Google, do the Kite Rider. Do that. Look that up and see the reviews about it, and see if I'm lying. Is that the kind of stuff that Juliana's talking about? And if so, what kind of Republican is she, Doug Rimmer and Tom Salzer? What kind are they?
Well, look, I want to remind everybody, I just pulled up the Bossier Parish Library's website. Guess who's the president? Oh, that's Tom Salzer. Guess who's the vice president of the Bossier Parish Libraries? Oh, Juliana Parks. Look at the board members. It's a who's who of the good old boys around here. And the police jury. I mean, I recognize 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, 10 of the board members.
Bruce Touch, you're right. You're absolutely right. Hey, pastors, y'all scared you're going to offend somebody? You know, y'all, pastors, you go search for those books. You tell me, do you think they're appropriate? And you're folks sitting here trying to throw rocks at us and accusing us of using, you know, stuff and endangering our kids. And what was the other thing she accused us of?
Oh, I don't know. Rape,
potentially
bullying, I don't know. Incest, whatever. Who
committing
knows?
Suicide or
Yes,
you know,
suicide.
endangering kids or whatever. Well, I'm just wondering how y'all go look these books up and you tell me if you think that's appropriate, because obviously Tom Salzer and Juliana Parks thinks those are appropriate. I'm dying to know. Her public remarks, you know, don't match her actions.
No, they don't.
They don't.
They don't.
They don't.
And it's completely hypocritical. It's always got to be all about her. You know, she's, like we showed, she's constantly, it just grates. It's like, and fingernails on a chalkboard don't really bother me. But if they did, that's what Juliana is like to me at this point, especially after the Charter Commission meeting last night. And we hadn't even got to all that.
Yeah. Her actions reflect, you know, her willingness to silence anyone, you know, and everybody. She does not want public discourse. She does not want the public being informed. I mean, she has shown that. We can show you countless clips, responses she's had to people asking questions, you know, a ton of stuff. And, you know, her willingness to silence the public and exempt herself from public accountability as well as her friends, it's offensive. It's offensive to me. And I don't care if you are, I'm just going to say it, if you're a crooked public servant and your why is about your self-interest, I don't care if I lose everybody that watches this show from my standpoint. I'm confident you feel the exact same way, but if, and y'all think we're wrong, by all means say it, but I formed my opinion. I'm going to inform you. I don't have to call her a vile name when I've got a ton of content that I can show you in video and in black and white of her being hypocritical, saying one thing and doing something else. What about the parish administrator? Didn't live in Bossier. Right. You know, what about that transparency?
The whole Robert Barry situation and literally pictures with him anyway.
Hey,
we go on and on.
Yeah, what about the Cypress District police jury? You know, Tom Salzer, Juliana Parks. I mean, I'm just wondering about Rex. Free boat stickers. How many people watching this show? How many of y'all got free boat stickers? How many of y'all got free cabins? I mean, oh, wait a minute. Y'all aren't elected officials, and you so all those kinds of perks and stuff don't kind of float around there. You don't get to use free equipment to repair your stuff. But I don't know what you would think, but maybe if you're an elected official, you have to look out for your friends. You can't, I mean, the public is not your friends. They're your servants, and the other elected officials are your friends. And then why do I say that?
Yeah. Well, why would that be, Duke? I mean, it's almost like you need some kind of ethics investigation or something going on.
Oh, that's right. I think that has came up before, right? And Juliana opined and gave her thoughts as to why it's not in the best interest of the public for a elected body to do something on behalf of the public.
Yeah, and I want to point out, so I'm about to go to that cut, that D.D. White Clark is reminding us that the comments are turned off or otherwise limited on the Bossier Parish Police Jury's page. Imagine that. They don't like commentary from you little peons out there, which also includes us. All right. So let me pull up that. Let's see. Give me just a second here. There we go. Okay, and I'm at the 4709 mark. That's where I think we should be, correct?
Yep.
All right. Let's play it.
Robert, you have a resolution for requesting an ethics investigation and opinion.
Yeah, we've had some people go to the ethics board and want to get an opinion on this, and they've been told that it really needs to be by an organization, so that's why this is before you this evening. I think the resolution is pretty self-explanatory. We have some questions about what's happened in city government. I think it's been going on for a while, and we'd just like to request that the ethics board look into this and see if there's anything there. I mean, if there is something there, we need to know about it. If there's nothing there, then the other side can say they have been looked at and it's all clean. But like I said, I don't know what thoughts y'all have on this, but it's something that, you say, why are we doing this? Well, this is the type of thing we need to do when we see things wrong in our community, if we can. And so it's out there. It's out there. I think it should pass. I'd like to.
All right. So give us the context of that.
So here's the context, folks. This is the Bossier Parish Republican Executive Committee. And, there are at-large members and there are district members. A resolution was wrote. If y'all remember back, now follow along here. Y'all pay close attention because we're going to give you some new breaking information. And we're going to show you on video. We're going to show you on video some false statements by another elected official, and it relates to Juliana Parks. Her protecting her friends, but not protecting your interests. Again, we're the bad guys and we're the devil. We're all that stuff, but I didn't put none of that in the public libraries. She's there to defend you. But anyway, the Bossier Parish, a resolution was passed to call for an investigation of King David Montgomery and Manchac in regards to, if you remember, the water line from Bossier City to the port, or the port to Bossier City. Remember? And here's the thought. Think about this. If individuals, and I don't disagree with Juliana, individuals can make a complaint, but why should an individual have to make a complaint when we have elected officials that should take actions and do things and hold public officials accountable? We don't elect people to create a good old boy system, for them to look out after each other. It's supposed to be that they're supposed to be looking out for us. So what was Juliana's thoughts and on the Republican Parish Executive Committee calling for an investigation when the deliberations on the water line in Bossier were being made? And we're going to show that video here in just a second, and the comments that were made and why that resolution for an investigation was made in the first place. But keep playing. Let's see what Juliana had to say.
All right, here we go.
Approval of it, but it's also out there so we can get a discussion about it and talk about it. So that's
I like to listen to some of y'all that live up in the town.
I have a question. Who called and because I called the ethics board today and asked them, they said that usually it's individuals that, you can make your complaint anonymously, that there's no reason that it has to be a group that does it.
Okay, well, that's good information to know. That was information.
Because my concern is, as an attorney, if you hear one side and you haven't heard the other side, I mean, how do you know that something was done wrong? And if we step out there and ask for this investigation, it kind of makes a big spectacle of it. And then if they come back and say that he didn't do anything wrong, it's like, I don't know, that just doesn't seem right to me.
All right, I got to pause it right there for a second and point the hypocrisy of that statement out. You just heard her say, as an attorney, you need to hear both sides. Well, apparently you only want to hear both sides, Juliana, when it's good for you politically, which is exactly what I told you last night in the parking lot. All right, sorry, Duke.
Oh, no. Keep playing because she ain't done.
All right.
Thanks for that clarification, because I haven't talked to some other people here, but if we can do that individually, I will pull this at the moment, because I think that's what we should do, and then if we have something that comes back, maybe we can act on it at that point in time. So that was my understanding. I don't know if I don't want to quite pull it yet. Let me see if there's any other talk about that, but I don't disagree with that.
I'm not a member, but they have contracts with multiple municipalities all over the state, such as Jennings, Lake Charles, Westlake. Has anybody bothered to call to see how their cooperative agreements have worked out or issues?
This is.
Well, to make a long story short, because I'm not sure how far into this video and I don't have the timestamp, but Juliana says, and it's in here, if anybody disputes, and Juliana, if you dispute that you didn't say it, or I don't say it I mean, if I get one word off of quoting her, she'll say, "Oh, you mischaracterized."
Be careful of the one word that you misquoted.
Oh yeah, but I will say the word she used, she just doesn't agree because it's bearing false witness for a body, an elected body to represent the people of Bossier, the Republicans of Bossier, to call for a governmental body that their job is oversight to investigate King David and Manchac in regards to the activities around the water line thing down there. She said it's bearing false witness. How is it bearing false witness if you want someone outside to have oversight? And the reason, we got to jump ahead and we got to get to the next video. Let's go to that council meeting.
Okay, so I'm going to switch screens, so it'll take me just a minute to get that one pulled up. I'm pulling them up one at a time as we go, so we don't.
Go forward to not the next replay, but the next one after that. Skip that one.
Okay, the one that says this was the actual meeting with the quotes. All right, and to address that,
my mistake. Go back up.
Which one do you want?
To the one right there.
Okay, the one that you're. Okay, I got it. All right. To address your question there, Colonel Crockett, he asked when was that meeting. That meeting was May the 1st of 2023. That was the Bossier PEC meeting. All right, give me just a second, Duke, and let me get this and this and this and this and this and all.
So what we're going to show you the actual council meeting where they're discussing the water line and why this spawned a resolution at the Bossier Parish Republican Executive Committee meeting. And
all right, let me make sure I'm at the right one. So this is from our show 150. Is that what we're looking at?
Correct. And you need to look for the comment that we've been working on this for years. I don't have the timestamps put there.
Smith interview. I don't. Okay. There's only. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm sorry for the Montgomery comment. Got it. All right. Just a little technical difficulty there, folks, but I think we got it. Okay. Here we go. So you're ready for me to hit play?
Yep. Roll.
There we go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been working on this, for quite some years. There's been a lot of effort put into this to simplify everything.
Jump forward to. We've been working on.
All right. Jump forward to where?
We've had workshops.
Okay, I got you. All right, here we go. In case he calls
the payout, and the longer it goes on, of course, costs continue to rise. The port is anxious to have a secondary source for water for future tenants. It is, to me, of the utmost importance to get this done as quickly as possible. I guess a little.
Spit it out, David.
Without, I don't know what the word I'm looking for.
Insurance money, is that what you're looking for?
Workshops, we've talked about this. It's a win-win for the city.
All right, there you go. You heard it.
All right.
We've had workshops. We've been working on this for years. So what y'all need to know is that next day, I think it was the next day, we sent a public information request, and Rex, the email response, I didn't pull it up in a cut. It's going to be in the email, the email account.
Okay.
That response that we got. So we're going to have to go off the fly here, but we sent a public information request to which we got a response. And okay, so that meeting.
Sorry, dude. Give me a keyword to search real quick.
tell you what, give me a second and I should be able to find it really fast.
Okay. So the point of all this is, again, to point out the doublespeak and the hypocrisy of, our local officials, and how all of this is kind of loosely, well, it's not really loosely, tied together. So I'm going to show a couple of comments real quick while you're pulling that up. Michael Ferris says, liberal tactics often include the intentional mischaracterization of language to emotionally manipulate the discussion and the outcome. Ryan Haygood says, David Montgomery needs an indictment. I'm betting he gets one. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, they pretty much are able to just keep skating by right out there in public view. Okay, did you find it?
No, I'm
No.
looking. It's in there. Just give me a second. Keep
Okay.
talking.
No problem. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about because I don't want to jump us too far ahead. So we're going to talk about for sure here in a minute the Charter Commission meeting briefly. We're just going to hit a couple of highlights of that. We'll do it in depth next week. But we're going to talk about that and my discussion with Juliana after that meeting out in the parking lot. So we've got that to come up. And, we're still at 150 plus people watching the show, and we're at 2 hours and 51 minutes long. So we appreciate all of y'all watching. Did you find it, Duke?
I did not. So look, here's the long and short. So we sent an email, a public information request when David Montgomery made the statements that we've had workshops. We've been working on this for years. We sent a public information request the next day, and we finally, this past week, I think either Wednesday or Thursday of last week, we got a response from the assistant city attorney in regards to that request. Now that would have been back last year sometime. I mean, we've complained on this show endlessly about not getting responses. And
all right, was that the public, not to interrupt you, Duke, was that the public information request for the Caddo Bossier Port Commission?
That was it.
Okay, so let me share the screen. Hold on just a second, just to show everybody.
The response we got back was that there was no records responsive to our request, none whatsoever.
Yes. And there, folks, you can see it. Let's see, you can't really see the date, but it was sent on February the 2nd of 2023. All right. And you see, Charles, not to interrupt you, Duke, you see Jacobs' his acknowledgement of being in receipt of the public records request on the same day. Please allow 30 days for complete response. Sincerely, E. Charles Jacobs. Well, that's February 22nd of 2023 when we got that receipt response. That's a little odd because that was almost a year ago.
And so what our request was for any documents, any minutes of any meetings, any emails of David Montgomery, Manshack, or the city of Bossier regarding any, what David Montgomery said in the council meeting, that they've been working on it for years. They've had workshops. We wanted any documentation that showed that any of that was true, that any of it taken place.
Yeah.
And we finally, a year later, after the port deal is done, get a response that none of that exists. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
So why did we show you what Juliana did at the PEC meeting? Because she was protecting her friends. She was carrying the water of David Montgomery, literally preventing oversight. So could an individual have made that complaint to the ethics board? Yeah, she's absolutely right. She's absolutely right. But when y'all elect individuals to represent you on bodies, isn't it the responsibility of elected bodies to, oversee your government as well? Don't they have an obligation? Don't they all swear an oath to the Constitution? I think that they do. But Juliana, no, she's not going to talk about her friends. She's going to stand in the way.
when it's convenient for her, she's going to stand in the way or just honestly do whatever's necessary to protect her friends. You're absolutely right, Duke. Okay.
So I think, in conclusion, we have beat it to death. There's still 150 of y'all hanging in here and watching, and we appreciate. We know this is torture, as somebody said earlier. It's like watching grass grow. We know it is, but we want to, go to the nth degree to show you and to tell you who is trying to convince you that we're these evil people, that we describe women in some vulgar way, and how they try to twist you up and to make you think something that's not true. And how we also do that is show you their actions.
Right.
You see what's in the library. You see what we were trying to do to bring transparency in only even the port deal. She was standing in the way,
Yeah,
I don't,
right in the way.
If you don't see it with that, Rex, I mean, I don't know how else we can show people. I mean,
yeah, I mean, literally, we go, and we try to do this on every show, and we said this basically from day one or pretty close to it. We are opinionated. We are biased. We do, if somebody sends us the Proton mail, we do try to do at least a little bit of due diligence before we throw it out there or allege something that somebody has claimed. Now, that doesn't mean that they always come true, and we've had to correct the record a few times. But we try to do our homework first. We're not just trying to do this for, political gain. I am not ever running for any political office ever again. Duke, full disclosure, you're on the PEC, and I think the State Central Committee, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a sort of elected office as far as Republicans go. But, I certainly don't have any more plans. So we are using, again, following the mission and the mantra of our show to point out these things that our elected officials that we all elect, some of them unfortunately, what they're up to.
Now, I want us to get back to West Marriott and the original allegation, because I don't know that we've talked enough. We are sitting here and defending ourselves from this false allegation, and if people are, if you will fall for this, I hate to say dark side Jedi mind trick, being played on you, then okay, but we're showing you the other side of it. But you know what? In all fairness, is it possible that West Marriott may have been trying to be vulgar, right? Is it, is it possible?
Well, look, anything's possible, okay? But we have to take somebody at their word and what they said to us. Because we point blank asked him.
And yeah, because I mean, the accusation demands a response. And we asked him the question, did you say it? Did you mean it to be vulgar, or did you mean it in the alleged way that she is saying that, or saying what it means? Is that what you meant? And he sent us a response.
Okay, so let me do a couple of little quick clicks here. Click that out of the way, and let's put up, this is Wes's official response. Now, I want to say that Wes let us know, he has no problem coming on the show, of course, except that he's involved in multiple lawsuits with the city right now, so he has to be careful in what he says. He does speak at the city council meeting and at the charter commission meetings, and probably may have spoke at the PEC meeting if y'all were allowing commentary, public commentary, but he has to be very careful and do prepared statements because he's involved in that litigation and has to be very careful. So here is the response that he sent us. He says, for those of you listening to the podcast version, I vehemently deny any negative or offensive connotation in reference to my comment addressing Ms. Park's absence from the second Bossier City Charter Commission meeting. It's unfortunate and outrageous that Ms. Parks and her associates are repeating this slanderous, libelous, and malicious claim that has absolutely no merit whatsoever. See, folks, here's the deal. She can attack us all she wants or whatever. We're still going to keep doing the show. But she is reaching out to fellow police jurors. She may have reached out to many of y'all, and she's trying to absolutely do a smear and slam campaign. There's no doubt about it. We've got the messages and phone calls, or notes from the phone calls. A smear and slam campaign against Wes and his Sobo Live and who knows what else.
And because, as we say, when you're over the target, things start getting hot. And Rex, there's another observation that I think we need to share. And the last Charter Commission meeting, if you pull up any of the restreams of the Charter Commission meeting, maybe the first one, and just pull up the video with all of the members sitting up there. And I made an observation today that I wanted to point out to folks. And when I told you at the start of the show that we're going to show you some things that you might not would have picked up on that make you go, interesting.
All right, so give me a second. You want the first Charter Commission meeting?
The first Charter Commission meeting. Yeah, that'll be
all
the
right,
best.
Give me just a second. All right, here we go.
And so, we're saying, and some people may be saying, well, dadgummit, that one didn't show panoramic, showed them all.
Yeah, that's the one because they weren't streaming at that point. So,
but that one's good enough. It's fine. I'll be able to make the point.
Okay.
But the point is Miss Parks and her political person, Allie Feaster Smith, have a campaign. It's targeted at women to try to say that we are vulgar, using profanities and all that. And being offensive and disrespectful to women. And as you enunciated, it's a political op. We know it because we're political people. We see it, but the general public, y'all don't see it. This Charter Commission, have y'all, if you followed it, have you noticed something that the people who are appointed on there that opposed term limits by councilmen who opposed term limits, they're all women. The people who supported term limits are all men.
Very interesting. Surely that's a coincidence. And surely it's a coincidence that 68% of our viewers are women, which we've literally posted on Facebook before in the past.
Could it be that, because we jokingly said during the Term Limits Coalition that they are way off their game and they don't have their politics. Could they have had a meeting and said, we've got to get our stuff together. How are we going to move forward? And said, oh, we're going to play the woman card.
The victim card. It's almost like we read their minds. They're playing the victim card.
I don't know, but I think that dynamic is interesting to point out. And look, if you think it's not,
let us know.
That's not the way it is. Let us know.
Yeah,
we could be
let us know
wrong
in the comments. And look, even for folks that are watching this not necessarily live, that are watching it later on or tomorrow or the next day or whatever, let us know in the comments. Look, Juliana, you can actually comment if you want. You can comment as yourself if you want.
She can come on the show.
She can come on the show.
We've invited her endlessly, but no, she will never do that.
So let's go ahead and let me discuss. I don't really, because it's already 9:00. I don't really want to get into the whole Charter Commission meeting. There was plenty said at that I think we can cover maybe next week. I mean, some great content at that Charter Commission meeting. So if you don't subscribe to the Bossier City Charter Commission on YouTube, go subscribe to their channel and watch those videos while Duke is reading more smut. Well, go ahead.
Oh no, this is just racial slurs. No, I'm not going to go there. I mean,
so I'll just, as we start to kind of wrap up the show, I want to describe the meeting the Charter Commission meeting. So I'm going to summarize it in probably about a minute. There was a lot of discussion over term limits at that Charter Commission meeting. I thought it was going to be a boring meeting where they just set the next meetings and all that. Oh no, Shane Cheatham got on his soapbox and it was epic and well worth listening to. He literally had a cheering section going on with the audience, with the ladies that were attending there. Juliana, on the other hand, showed her true colors. At first, she was kind of couching and walking the fence, her position on term limits and kind of hedging her bets. But by the end of it, after a little tit for tat with her and Shane Cheatham, she just apparently couldn't hold it in any longer, and she expressed her complete position on term limits, which is she is not for them. You don't have to take our word for it. You can go listen to the Charter Commission meeting or wait till next week because we'll be reviewing that. So fast forward to the meeting is over. We're walking out to the parking lot. Shane is standing there. Colonel Crockett, you were standing there. You're in the comments, so you can basically back this up. I'm going to give the summary version. David Johnson was standing there. Let's see, who else was it? But anyway, Juliana was standing there. Well, I walked by Cheatham and, kind of ribbed him a little bit and said, hey, that was a great campaign speech that you did in there. So we were involved in a little small talk. Juliana speaks up and she says, well, I see. You'll talk about me on the show, but you won't talk about me to my face. Granted, she's standing 3 feet away from me. I said, basically, not tonight, or we'll do this another time, or you're welcome to come on the show. Well, a couple more comments. She said it again. I said, Juliana, that's where you're actually wrong, because I am going to say it to your face. So I gave her an episode of bossierwatch about 3 feet away from her.
I don't think she had ever gotten a dose of you in person before, has she?
No, and look, I generally don't speak at the meetings. You and I have talked about this. You don't speak too much at those public meetings because, look, we get on our soapbox every week for 2 to 3 hours, and we want to give everybody else the opportunity to speak without us getting in the way. But anyway, as a matter of fact, I think it was David Johnson was like, oh, well, maybe I'll need to, take this out of the parking lot. Maybe we need to do this another time. And I reminded David, and Shane was standing there too. Hey, I tried not to do this, and she asked me twice, so she's going to get it. And so here's the interesting thing, though. I was pointing out her position, which is absolutely wrong on term limits, because 80% of people we know are for term limits, 20% are against. She's on the wrong side of that. She's on the 20% side. She was wrong in her comments in the Charter Commission meeting about the growth of Bossier City. Bossier City itself is not growing and hasn't been. It's been stagnant or actually losing a little bit of population. And I went on and on. The best that she could come up with was, well, y'all called me the C word on your show, which, of course, we didn't, as we have thoroughly shown tonight. So that should tell you everything you need about Juliana. You try to debate politics with her and policy where you disagree, and the best she can come up with are wrong attacks, are manufactured attacks. And that's it. I'm off my soapbox.
Well, I appreciate it. And so, look, on behalf of the police jury, Juliana Parks, and the other police jury from down there in South Bossier that seems to want to make a name for himself. I mean, they need you to go to the public library because they need help in protecting the kids and ensure that you keep books like The Kite Runner depicting, rape of a 13-year-old boy. They need you, what was the other one? Word Slut, Mother Tongue.
These titles of these books are killing me.
Countless books. I mean, they need you to go and rent these books so that when the kids come in there, they're not available. And somebody please go to Halton and get that DVD. I mean, there should not, if that is porn, there's no way that should be in the library. Y'all go get it. Juliana needs help protecting kids, and I'm just saying.
Are you telling me that we're going to have to spin up another show called Bossier Political Porn Watch?
Of Juliana, I mean.
But between Bossier Watch, We're about to spin up and relaunch Louisiana Watch. We're going to start doing some stuff under the outdoor news banner and all that. I don't know how we're going to have time to keep up with the political porn that they're having allowed in the library still.
Yeah, and so for all of you that receive the false accusations of us calling someone some derogatory name, you know, and you feel inclined, let Miss Parks know that you don't agree with the language of the gutter, and that you've heard the other side of the story as she recommends, and you don't appreciate it. By all
Now,
means,
look,
let her know.
I want to let everybody else know too. I invited her last night in the midst of our little kerfuffle there in the parking lot. I invited her on the show. Do you know what she did, Duke? She rolled her eyes, shrugged, and turned around and walked off. I invited her on the show. We do it every show. We invite every politician, and I literally invited her in person last night with witnesses standing there.
Why is it so hard to just do right? I don't understand it. You know, you make the people trying to shed light, you make them the villain, and you're trying to keep things hid. I don't get it. But not the dirty books at the library. Y'all all go get some.
So we have talked about pretty much everything tonight, at least gone over the high points of some of it. I do want to say on the GAG order, I'll just summarize that real quick. We had an email public information request in on the GAG, or the supposed GAG order, for the Link Coleman lawsuit and that whole debacle down there in South Bossier, because we've always been told, oh, there's a GAG order and you can't get those records. Guess what the city, Richard Ray to his credit, and I thanked him for that last night, Duke, by the way, he sent us an email response finally, which is late, but he did send it. He's trying to tie up some loose ends from Jacobs's tenure. So far, we've gotten no GAG order. There are no responses that fulfill that request.
We'll show the actual response that they gave us. But again, I don't remember how long the delay on that request. I mean, whether that one was a year, the last one we said was about a year. You made a firearms map request. That one's been 3 years.
Oh yeah,
we got the answer. 3 years. There was like 4 responses to public information requests that span years and years and years. So when somebody, I mean, look, and I want to give credit to Richard Ray. Richard Ray is trying to get that stuff cleaned up, but I think the unresponsiveness to public records request is one of West Marriott's lawsuits. Again, over the target.
Over the target. And David, Colonel Crockett's are confirming, yes, you did, confirming the ordeal in the parking lot last night. She'll probably cry and moan and pull out her, victim card, and she was, she's going to play the victim. But anyway, all right. I hope everyone has enjoyed this show. Duke, you did very thorough notes, and hey, to my credit, I actually kind of followed the notes tonight for once.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, and going out, I mean, we gotta watch your movie debut one more time to close the show out.
I think so. So, folks, it's the Thelma and Louise Duke and Rex version with cameo appearances by Allie Feaster-Smith and Juliana as we close out the show. We want to thank all of y'all for watching, of course. Again, we had, over 150, 160 people, I don't know, 170, whatever it was, watching tonight. Want to thank all of you. If you do get, the calls and the texts or whatever, Facebook messages from Juliana or Allie, you can refer back to this show for the truth. If you disagree with us, we want to hear that in the comments too. We may argue back and forth, but it's fine to do that and fine to disagree. All right, Duke, let's see if I can roll that video, and I'll take us out. I'm going to play it twice and take us out. Oh, well, apparently not. Hold on just a second. Uh-oh. Here we go. All right.
Listen to me! You calm down. Don't make me sorry I brought you. Damn it!
Maybe just once.
What are you talking about? Let's keep going. What do you mean? Go. You sure? Yeah.
Kind of feminine a little bit there.
A little bit, you know.
At least I'm driving.
We're out of here, folks. Thank you for watching.